Okay, and the last question that we had from those that wrote in, again, we'll open up to the floor in a few moments' time for some questions. If anybody has any, I can bring the microphone around, so we'll get to that in a moment. But the last question was, I was diagnosed with hydrocephalus at birth and am now in my 50s. What is known about aging with the condition? Is there any research currently underway about aging and hydrocephalus?
It's a good question because it's general. I like this. We're diagnosed with hydrocephalus at birth, but it doesn't say whether you were shunted or not, and I think they're two different issues. There are some individuals, and I talked a little bit about it before, who may have had a big head at birth, may have been told they had hydrocephalus, and yet developmentally they were fine. They didn't have symptoms. It kind of ties in with Dr. Kulkarni's question about, do you do something with somebody with big ventricles? They go into adulthood and they have big ventricles. And we've thought of this as being compensated or arrested hydrocephalus. It's not clear to me that these individuals need routine follow-up. But there is a potential that as they age, these individuals may be at a higher risk of developing the symptoms of normal pressure hydrocephalus that we're seeing in the so-called idiopathic NPH group. So the idiopathic group is a group of individuals who have nothing wrong with their brain that we can tell and no predisposing conditions and develop these symptoms. And then this group, what we refer to as secondary NPH, would be individuals who have potentially what looks like congenital hydrocephalus and are completely asymptomatic until their late adult years. So it is possible that the presence of hydrocephalus that's not been treated may put one in that subgroup that might be at risk of developing NPH. And if symptoms appear, then that's something that needs to be addressed and you need to get attention for that. Treated hydrocephalus, so adequately treated hydrocephalus in a person who's functioning neurologically normally, there's no research that I'm aware of that is specifically looking at the issue of aging in this group. So I kind of look at this as primarily a mechanical issue. They've got a piece of plumbing in place that is working and their brain's functioning fine, and it's the issue of how long will that plumbing last. It doesn't need to be routinely checked. And individuals have often talked to me about, should I have a routine follow-up? And I tend not to see people routinely who have had shunts for many, many years. I make sure that they're aware I'm available and that I can be their first go-to if there's an issue. But the reality is I could see you today and you're perfectly fine and your shunt could block tomorrow. And seeing you is not a means of making it any safer for you to carry on a day-to-day basis. As I said, it's mainly an issue of mechanical problems with the shunt that can occur at any point in time over life, but are no more likely to occur in adulthood than they are in the pediatric age group.